Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, to a Spanish language lab and what looks like a minimum security prison. In this video series, we're reading Tokio ya no nos quiere. Tokio doesn't love us anymore. This is our second reading series in this channel. The first one was Fight Club. This book has a lot of parallels thematically with Fight Club. It talks about consumer culture. It questions the idea of identity. We have an unnamed, unreliable narrator, just as we did in Fight Club. And the premise of this book is that our hero or anti-hero, it's looking a lot like anti-hero, he works for a shadowy company that sells what they call like a forgetting pill, a forgetting drug. So you have some past trauma, some regrets, an inconvenient truth you know about that you'd like to forget about. You take the pill and then you forget that memory. And so where we're leaving off here is one of his coworkers, one of the company men who works in Rio, down Rio de Janeiro, disappeared with a year's supply of the forgetting drug in a suitcase. We don't know where he went. And so our anti-hero, our main character, is called upon to go down to Rio. And he hates Rio because he starts ranting about Carnival. Everyone down at Carnival, they partied too hard. These motherfuckers partied too hard. And he doesn't want to be around all that debauchery. So that's what we know. He hasn't gone down to Rio yet. Right now he's still in Sedona, Arizona. And so let's get into it. So we left off in this section here, last video, where it's February, we're in Arizona. He is in Sedona, and he just describes this very pleasant environment. He's in this like old diner. There's a lot of um, American football around. There's tourists with different hats, and he's in a diner. A lot of colorful ice cream, a lot of colorful pancakes, and things are going nice. And you know it's going nice because of this little phrase right here. Nada que olvidar por el momento. Nothing to forget about for the moment. And so that to me signals a dependency on the drug. Any little thing that he doesn't like, he just pops the pill and he doesn't have to remember the unpleasant memory. But we know that our memories and past experiences help create who we are in the present moment. And so if you erase the past, don't you also erase the present? Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's keep going. So here's where we left off. Cuando me despierto, la película aún no ha terminado, pero yo, por supuesto, ya he perdido el hilo. Así que dejo el cine por la salida de emergencia y salgo a la calle, que es la calle principal de Sedona y casi la única porque Sedona es uno de esos pueblecitos atravesados por una carreta que va a otro sitio. This first sentence here is actually quite nice. So remember that our main character here is in a movie theater, one of two movie theaters in Sedona, Arizona, and he fell asleep. He fell asleep and he lost the thread. Ya he perdido el hilo. He lost the thread, he lost the plot. He doesn't know what's going on in the movie. And so he left through the emergency exit, la salida de emergencia. He went to the street, the main street of Sedona, and here we are. Un pueblo de paso cortado por la mitad como una naranja. Ya es de noche y apenas hay luna. Las rocas alrededor del pueblo ya no son rojas, sino negras como un montón de encapuchados. Encapuchados. What is that? Hooded. Hooded. Hooded rocks? Is that what he's saying? Ya no son rojas, sino negras como un montón. Let's translate that whole sentence. They are no longer red, but black, like a bunch of hooded men. Okay, a little sinister. Cruzo la carretera hasta el diner, que es el único bar que sigue abierto. Me tomo una cerveza y el camarero me pregunta qué tal la película. Y yo le digo que bien, pero por decir algo. Y él me dice que está harto de monstruos y que aún recuerda cuando en las películas salía gente de verdad y también me cuenta que una vez su mujer, que en paz descanse, recorrió a pie todo el camino entre Sedona y el lago Moctezuma para verle y que él trabajaba en el construcción del aeropuerto junto al lago y que muchos indios y blancos se dejaron los riñones trabajando en el maldito aeropuerto para que luego un político de Phoenix decidiera cancelar las obras año apenas un año antes de la inauguración. Inauguración. Can you help me pronounce that little tool here? 1 second, folks. 1 second. Yeah, I'm saying it right. It's just a tongue twister for me. Inauguración. Inauguración. There you go. Just gotta speed it up. Speed it up. Okay, so what's happening here? That was a long sentence. All right, so he crosses the street. He enters a diner. It's the only diner that's still available, open rather. And he talks to the waiter. The waiter asks him how the movie is. He said it's fine. Just say something because remember he fell asleep. And the waiter says, "Yeah, the movie's full of monsters." And he remembers the time when movies had real people. And he remembers the time in which his woman ran on foot the entire street of Sedona and the lake, and that he worked construction at the airport, junto al lago. Not sure what that, and the lake. He was working on the construction of the lakeside airport. Okay, there we go. Y que muchos, and a lot of Indians and blancos, white guys, se dejaron los kidneys trabajando en el maldito aeropuerto. Maldito. The damned airport. I guess it's just too hot. Para que luego so that afterwards a politician of Phoenix could decide to cancel uh, a Phoenix politician decided to cancel the works just a year before the inauguration. Okay, so a lot of guys sacrificed their bodies to build this thing, and a politician came by and said, "You know what? Nah, scrap it." So he's a little bitter towards that. Okay, let's keep going. Por supuesto, le pregunto cómo murió su mujer y él, sin ponerse especialmente triste. Me dice que su mujer murió en el parto de su segunda hija y que su segunda hija se llama Helen y que la primera se llama Andrea y que sin durarlo ni un segundo daría su vida por ellas. Did I read that first part right? Por supuesto le pregunto cómo murió su mujer y él. And him? How did he die? Is he talking to ghosts now? I mean, you read what I'm reading, right? Of course, I asked him how his wife and he died. Let me translate that whole thing. That's wild. Of course, I asked him how his wife died, and he, without being particularly sad, tells me that his wife died in the birth of his second daughter, and that his second daughter is called Helen, and that the first is called Andrea, and that without hesitation he would give his life for them. Is this a spelling error? I mean, a grammatical error? Por supuesto, le pregunto cómo murió su mujer y él. Right. It's saying, how did his wife and him himself die. What is it, the Sixth Sense? Okay, that's odd. Okay, that's odd. You see what I'm saying? Like, like if you've been following the other videos, he just says some things here and there that really make you scratch your head and think, what? Like, is he kind of losing touch with reality? And here, I'm getting another one. I'm getting another one. He's losing touch with reality. Let's highlight that. Let's go with pink. Camino de Sedona. Camino de Sedona por la carretera 17 se van los restos del aeropuerto abandonado. Hay por lo menos 20 kilómetros entre Sedona y las pistas vacías. Luego, antes de que me vaya, el camarero que está al otro lado de la barra le dice al último cliente, han sido 2 años terribles. Camino de Sedona por la carretera 17 se van los restos del aeropuerto abandonado. Hay por los menos 20 kilómetros entre Sedona y las pistas vacías. What's up, pistas vacías? The empty runways. Oh, okay. All right, so that it's kind of like a ghost town, the airport, because there's some construction. It's all abandoned and it's almost like this like haunted vibe. How much more do we have? Hopefully my computer doesn't run out of memory. In fact, hold on, give me a second. All right, let's keep going. Los turistas. Los turistas ingleses se han instalado en el Hotel Gran Sedona a la salida del pueblo, que es donde paran siempre los grupos porque es más barato y porque al amanecer la vista de las colinas rojas es magnífica. Yo me ha quedado en los bungalows del valle donde van los jugadores de golf o los que ya conocen la vista. Los bungalows son mucho mejores, no solo la comida y el servicio, también los canales de pago en la televisión. Y por supuesto, las falsas chimeneas, llamas que suben y bajan al otro lado del cristal como solo apretar un botón en el mando a distancia. Todas las casitas simulan chozas de abode, pero una vez dentro hay que andarse con cuidado. Okay, all right, I'm tripping up. So let's read that sentence all over again. Llamas que suben y bajan al otro lado del cristal con solo apretar un botón. En el mando a distancia, todas las casitas simulan chozas de adobe, pero una vez dentro hay que andarse con cuidado para no caerse dentro del inmenso jacuzzi. I don't know what I just read. Uh, there are calls to get up and get off al otro lado del. Okay, just sorry, folks. We gotta translate this. I don't know what's going on. Flames that rise and fall on the other side of the glass with the push of a button. Oh, llamas, not like llama. Llamas? Okay, when I read that, I thought it was like llama, like call, like a call to someone. Flames that rise and fall on the other side of the glass with the push of a button on the remote control. All the houses simulate adobe huts, but once inside, you have to walk. Con cuidado para no caerse dentro del inmenso jacuzzi. Yeah. Okay. Boy, oh, that there was something. I'll tell you what. All right. Una botellita de whisky y a la cama. Telling you, man, sounds like a druggie. En la televisión he visto a un hombre llorando en el juicio de su hija asesinada. El hombre estaba contando algo sobre la niña. Ha dicho su nombre, Molly, 6 o 7 veces, pero al llegar a una palabra no ha podido seguir. El fiscal le ha preguntado si faltaba algo en la habitación de la niña. El hombre ha contestado que al principio no notaron nada, pero que después, revisando entre los juguetes y la ropa de la niña, habían sido incapaces de encontrar su. Ahí es donde no ha podido más y se ha puesto a llorar y a llorar y ha llorado tanto que el juez ha tenido que suspender temporalmente la vista. You know what? I think some of these so-called movies or memories are of other people are actually of him. He has a dead daughter, possibly. This man was telling something about the girl, right? I mean, let's break this down. Um, in the television. So okay, quote unquote television. Oops, right? He's probably looking at an empty screen. It's just static. On television, I have seen a man crying at the trial of his murdered daughter. The man was telling something about the girl. He has said her name Molly 6 or 7 times, but when he reached a word, he could not continue. The prosecutor asked him if anything was missing from the girl's room. The man has replied that at first they did not notice anything, but that later, checking among the toys in the girl's clothes, they had been unable to find her. That's where she couldn't take it anymore, and she started crying and cried so much that the judge had to temporarily suspend the hearing. Yeah, yeah, I'm beginning to think that whenever he looks at a TV, it's self-reflection. Clever little disguise, though, writing wise. Por supuesto, me duermo pensando de que sería lo que aquel pobre hombre no era capaz de decir, y porque no lo encontraron. Cuando me despierto, aún estoy pensando en el mismo. Yeah, dude, that's his daughter. When I wake up, I'm still thinking about the same thing. Yeah, that's you. Somebody murdered your daughter, and that's something you would most certainly want to take a pill to forget about in your most you know vulnerable moments. I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. That's human. Of course, I fall asleep thinking about what that poor man was not able to say and why they did not find him. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave the video off here. That was quite a bit. um yeah, it's kind of crazy. What do you think? Do you think I'm kind of reading too much into this? I think we just found out why this guy takes these pills. I think his daughter Molly was killed by someone. And yeah, yeah, he's trying not to feel the pain. Why does anyone fall asleep to a bottle of whiskey? They're trying to numb the pain, right? Um, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Why do you think he's projecting his own trauma onto that television screen? Do you think I'm just reading too much into this? Let me know. I think I'm onto something. That's what I think. All right, so yeah, that's it. I gotta close this out now. Here I am in my minimal security prison. So, filming a video for YouTube. All right, ciao, ciao.